Hey, True Seekers, just doing this for the first time, making sure everything is okay. Let's see. I am not sure if I'm coming through yet or not. That's the problem with doing things the first time. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. All right, True Sinker. I think we're live. I think we're on air. This is a trial run. If this works, start doing this a lot more often. But what's in the headlines? Today, September 29th, 2018, the day leaving 93 days left in the year. One of the top stories this morning, a 33-year-old vet went to the VA for help. Hours later, he took his own life. And there's a lot of things that jump out about this story. The man's name is Justin James Miller. His surname has Gematria of 33, like federal, like masonry, like secrecy, like order. They said he was a Marine. Marine also has that Gematria of 33. And let's just read a little bit of the article. Burdened by suicidal thoughts, Justin Miller, a 33-year-old veteran from Minnesota, reached out to the Department of Veterans Affairs in February for help, telling responders on the VA crisis line that he had access to firearms. Miller was advised to visit his local VA emergency department, which he did immediately. According to an inspector general report, Miller was admitted to the Minneapolis mental health unit until after he described in detail symptoms of severe emotional anguish to VA clinicians. After 4 days under observation, he was discharged. Miller exited the hospital upon being released from care, but never left the facility's grounds that day. Police found him dead in his car from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And I looked up his obituary. He died February 24th. We'll get to why that day matters. The story was first put out in local news February 26th. That was the date the obituary was posted as well. But let's just look at this. This news comes today, September 29th. It's a national news story today, the day leaving 93 days left in the year. The story's out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, which in Gematria sums to 93. And Minneapolis is also on the 93rd meridian. Remember, it's on the 44th parallel as well, because that matters. In this case, the man's name is Justin Miller. Justin has Gematria of 93, so does Miller. In case you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers, meaning each word will have 4 numerical outputs. And oftentimes propaganda is put out by the numbers. And oftentimes stories that are somewhat true but with misleading facts are also put out. And a part of me wonders if Justin Miller really committed suicide or if he might have been murdered and had his death blamed on a false suicide. Perhaps he knew something he wasn't supposed to know, or perhaps he was threatening to share something he wasn't supposed to share. The point is, this news is coming out on this date for a very specific reason, and the numbers are ones we talk about so often. So often this number 33 in the news. Not only was he 33 years old, but his name was Miller, having the Gematria 33. With regards to Minnesota being on the 44th parallel, notice military equals 44. Notice military also sums to 55. These are our 2 reduction ciphers. Minneapolis has that Gematria 55 as well, and he died on February 24th, the 55th day of the year. But again, the city's on the 44th parallel, military 44, trooper 44, soldier 44, infantry 44, officer 44. The word kill with the alphabetic order, K's 11, I's 9, L's 12, L's 12, kill 44. He died from a shooting, supposedly self-inflicted, but just as a reminder, shooting and gunfire have the Gematria 44. Something else that jumps out about his name is Justin Miller sums to 54. Like Jesuit order, this news comes just after the Jesuit order's birthday, where there were a lot of Jesuit rituals. With regards to the presence of 33, that very important number to Masonry, don't forget that February and Freemason, the month he died in, share the Gematria 42. The date of his death, February 24th, 2018, it was a date with numerology of 64 and 44, something we talk about often. These dates where the numerology works out to 64 and 44, very fateful because the word kill in Gematria sums to 64 and 44. 64, 44. Here's his obituary. Justin James Miller, beloved son and brother, member of IBU Local Number 110, age 33 of Leno Lakes, passed away on February 24th, 2018. What else is interesting about his name, Justin James Miller, the full name? He's using the base cipher, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. It's the exact same as Minneapolis, Minnesota. You know. So, I'm going to check and see if this broadcast is coming through before we move on with the rest of the stories. Can only see half the screen. Is everybody having this problem? No connection for video, only live chat. Refresh. I did not get it. Not one line said. So, can everybody just see half the screen? Not buffering at all. I see that the stream health is yellow. Before it was green. Not sure why it would be yellow right now. Everything looks good over here. Full screen. Okay. So some of you guys are saying it's good. I don't know why this stream health is yellow. When I did the test a little bit ago, it was green, and I assume green's better than yellow. Some people are saying half screen, some people are writing buffering, some people are saying full screen. Make it full screen. I thought it was full screen. Stream options. Move screen more to the left. All right, bear with me, you guys. This is the trial run. We got to make sure we do this right. I wonder if this is how you guys see it, just like this, with just the corner. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Okay, how do I fix that? Stream health. Well, unfortunately, I don't see why it wouldn't show the full screen. I don't see why it would just show you guys the corner. I don't see that I have an option to, it's supposed to be showing the full desktop or the full display is what I chose in my settings when I started. I'll tell you what, you guys, I'm just going to go ahead with the rest of this, and if the screen's off center, I'm just going to watch it afterwards and troubleshoot and see if I can figure it out for the next one. And if it doesn't turn out the way I wanted it to, I'll remake videos for all of these topics because they're important. But mostly right now, this is just a test to get this going right in the future. So let's look at the next story. You know, if you watched Brett Kavanaugh's testimony on the Jesuit order's birthday, again, he's the man who went to the Jesuit prep school on the very Catholic Jesuit, or trying to become a member of the very Catholic and Jesuit Supreme Court. If you missed that testimony, he had a lot to say about how much he loved beer. And it almost seemed like he was being paid by the beer companies to talk as much about beer as he did, because really, if you're trying to make your case for why you belong on the highest court in the land, why are you going to make so many statements about how much you love beer? And those were his words. I love beer. I've always loved beer. I'm going to drink beer. I used to drink a lot of beer when I was a teenager. I still drink a lot of beer. Beer. I was like, what in the world? I mean, seriously? But what I should have looked at that day is how beer lines up with Jesuit. And I'm hoping this is coming through on the screen. Let me see. Let me go up to this test screen real quick. Oh, if you guys can just see what I see on the test screen, we can only see the two most left ciphers. And that's disappointing. I don't know how to fix that at the moment. But if you go to gematrinator.com and type it in, you'll see that beer sums to 21, just like Jesuit. And in the next cipher over, beer and Jesuit are both 78. So overlap in two of the four ciphers. In the rightmost cipher, which I don't believe is on the screen right now, beer's 24 and Jesuit's 42, reflections of each other. But perfect overlap in two of the four ciphers. Again, this testimony was given on the Jesuit order's birthday. Makes me wonder how many of the major brewing companies are controlled by the Jesuits. They got a lot of influence in this world. But no wonder he had to talk so much about beer the day of. And actually, hold on. I'm going to see if, let me see if I can adjust it this way and make it show up on your guys's. When I go to the test screen, it's, oh, there it is. Okay, so it looks like that works if I do that. Okay, I think now you guys can see everything because I shrunk the screen and pushed it up into the left corner of my screen, which is not the way I want to do it, but in case you're missing all the information we talked about earlier with Justin Miller, the first story, the dead Marine at age 33 out of Minneapolis, here was everything I wanted to get on the screen. Again, this news coming on the 93rd day of the year, story out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, 93, a city on the 93rd meridian, Justin and Miller, 93. Minneapolis also on the 44th parallel. Military man dead from a shooting, supposedly self-inflicted gun wound. Very, very numerological story. And so was this one about Brett Kavanaugh and his beer on the Jesuit order's birthday. And this is just making me laugh that so much of the mainstream media is calling this Jeff Flake's big moment of his career. Jeff Flake from Snowflake, Arizona, flakes out on the Kavanaugh vote. And then look at that. I mean, just look at the news headlines there. Just look at them. Look at those facial expressions. I don't think these puppets like being the puppets that they are, but hey, they were born and bred to be, so I'm not sure how much choice they have. You know, if these guys came out and told you the truth, we might be reading about their obituary in the near future. Also, in this news story here with Jeff Flake's big moment, we had another Yale classmate break the silence on Kavanaugh. Her name is Liz Swisher. Notice Liz, 47 and 20, just like Judge in the same two ciphers. Notice what else? 148 and 58, like Fraternal. As we know, Freemasonry is also 58. Liz Swisher, 58 and 59. Just like Freemasonry, same ciphers. Liz Swisher, that name Swisher has gematria of 88, like Judge, like Trump, and then also 43 like Yale. And again, Kavanaugh, born on the 43rd day of the year. Ford, her name 43. We talked about that ritual in great detail. The Christine Blasey Ford parallels to Gerald Ford replacing Richard Nixon, how the stories are tributes in history to one another. Her name Liz also has the gematria of 16, Swisher 43. Notice Yale, 43 and 16. He worked for George W. Bush, did Kavanaugh, who's a member of Yale Skull and Bones, like his father, who was the president. Just a real quick one that I noticed this morning. I'd never typed in the word investigation, now that they're going to have this extra investigation of Kavanaugh, and I couldn't help but notice that investigation equals 187, just like Robert Mueller. Think about the Robert Mueller investigation. As we know, that's the big number in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., 187. George Washington, 187. Ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 187. What do you know? So, switching gears, another story in the news, massive earthquake in Indonesia. They're saying a lot of people have died, a lot of property destroyed, caused a tsunami. This happened September 28th, 18, a date with 55 numerology. That's one of our big earthquake numbers that we see again and again in these suspicious earthquakes. Earthquake 55, date with 55 numerology. The initial reporting was at least 48 killed. The number's gone way up since then, but the reason I think they reported that number is because the date of the earthquake was also a date with a life lesson number of 48. And as we know, Freemason sums to 48 in English and Hebrew. Illuminati also has that gematria of 48. They love to pick on the poor people of the world with these earthquakes. And to the powers that shouldn't be, it's probably seen as a form of population control. Not sure how you pronounce this. Is it Sulawesi? Probably not, but the spelling of that sums to 28 and 53. Quake has the gematria of 28. Earthquake has the gematria of 53 as well. Palu, where it hit, has the gematria of 58 like Freemasonry. Palu City, the gematria of 107 like earthquake, like military. If you have not read my book, Letters and Numbers, again, that first, or not the first chapter, but the chapter on weather warfare, I give the classic example of the San Francisco earthquake during the World Series. It was the Bay Area World Series, the San Francisco Giants, the Oakland Athletics. Jose Canseco was the last person shown on TV before the earthquake began. His full name in gematria sums to 107, and the earthquake was exactly 107 days after his birthday. And it just goes to show, for a long time, these psychopaths have been operating in this way. Manchurian athletes used in these rituals, planned disasters by the numbers. Don't forget, military sums to 107 like earthquake, and our military, for decades, the better part of a half century, experimented with detonating major explosives underground and high above in the skies. Now we're living in this age where they tell us storms are nuclear, suspicious earthquakes by the numbers. Last year, Mexico City had that major quake on the 32-year anniversary of the last major quake that they had. The word bomb equals 32. Switching gears again, there was a death on the Jesuit order's birthday. It was the Jefferson Airplane co-founder, Marty Ballin, dead at 76. For you young people, if you don't know Jefferson Airplane, you probably heard that song, White Rabbit. Begins with the lyrics about, taking the pills, and one makes you larger, the other makes you small. The ones your mother gives you, they don't do anything at all. You probably heard that song somewhere along the way. Pretty famous song. But this man died on the Jesuit order's birthday, and what jumps out right away is in our most important of the 4 base ciphers, Jefferson Airplane sums to 84 like Jesuit does with the alphabetic order. And one more time, the founder of the Jesuits, St. Ignatius of Loyola, he died 84 days from his own birthday. Jefferson also has the Gematria 44, fateful number. The divisors of 44 sum to 84. Think about the 33-day Pope who went to bed on the Jesuit order's birthday, never woke up again, pronounced dead on the date with 44 numerology. Jefferson also has the Gematria 46, like Catholic, like religion, like sacrifice. He was dead at age 76. Notice the word airplane, 76. Blood sacrifice has that Gematria of 76. Jefferson also with the 145, like Catholic. He died 241 days after his birthday. That's the 53rd prime number. Religion 53, the reflection of 35, another Catholic number. His name. A number of things jump out. The 213 is a number of death. The 78 is also a number of Jesuit. Jesuit 78 as well. The 33-day Pope who went to bed on the Jesuit order's birthday, he died in the year 78. So this is why this man was likely targeted. His last name, Buchwald, Gematria of 74. This is his official birth name right here, by the way, you guys. This is his artist name. This is his birth name. But his birth name, 74. Remember, the Society of Jesus, or this Jesuit order is the Society of Jesus. With the alphabetic order in the same cipher, Jesus is 74, Messiah is 74, Gospel 74, Parables 74, Cross 74, Killing 74, English 74, Gematria 74. The odds of all of those things summing to 74 is about 1 in a million. If you think that's a coincidence, can't help you. His artist name, Marty Ballin, Gematria 43, in the same cipher as Jesus Christ. And remember, Society of Jesus is also 191, which is the 43rd prime number. Killing has Gematria of 115 as well as 155. Marty 77 like Christ. His Ballin, this name has Gematria of 38, 20, and 97 just like death. So it's pretty clear why he was chosen, this man from this recording group at this age on the Jesuit order's birthday. There's always a ritual sacrifice in the world of celebrity on the Jesuit order's birthday. This is it for this year. Last year it was Hugh Hefner by the numbers, if you'll recall. Also really interesting, yesterday I got 2 requests to look into the deaths of 2 investigative journalists by 2 different people at 2 different hours in the day. Somebody asked me in the morning, somebody asked me at night. They were these people, Steve Coakley and Gary Webb. And it's funny how life works out. I want to show you the parallel between the deaths of both of these people. It's interesting. This man, Gary Webb, died 101 days after his birthday. And this man right here, Steve Coakley, died on the 101st day of the year. And I just thought, what are the odds? 2 people asked me to look into journalists, investigative reporters, and they both died in connection to a similar number. Gary Stephen Webb, this man here, who died December 10th, 2014, his name has Gematria of 170, like sacrifice, also 73 like sacrifice. And don't forget, ritual sacrifice is 73 as well. The day he died had numerology of 28, and I guess I forgot to finish what I was doing here, but we'll just do it live. 12 plus 10 is 22, plus 20 is 42, plus 04 is 46. As we know, sacrifice equals 46, execution 46. So he died on a date right for sacrifice. He died 101 days after his birthday. The word assassin has Gematria of 101. Notice his name, Gary Webb, also fateful numbers if you leave out the middle name, 83 and 38, the murder numbers. Murder by Numbers, the song, came out in 83. The movie poster, Murder by Numbers, has the E changed to a 3, the B changed to an 8. 43 as well, like killing. As for this man here, Steve Coakley, he exposed many things, including the boule. He died at age 59. Born June 17th, 1952. Dead April 11th, 2012. And with regards to him dying at 59, Negroes 59, slaves 59, blues is 59. He died 67 days from his birthday. Blood sacrifice 67. Boule equals 19. 67 is the 19th prime, and a lot of his work was focused on exposing the boule. Don't forget, Freemasonry also has Gematria of 67, like alchemy, which is a primary study in Freemasonry. With regards to him dying on April 11th, which is typically the 101st day of the year, that's the 26th prime. Boule also has Gematria of 26. Freemason has the Gematria 411. He died April 11th, 411, exposing Masonry, focusing on the Boule. Freemason 411 in the Satanic Gematria cipher. Assassin also has Gematria 411. Don't forget JFK's death, how his death was foreshadowed through, oh goodness, what's the name of that show? The Andy Griffith Show, the Christmas Day episode. The bootlegging family gets busted at 411 Elm Street. It's covered in great detail in my book, that riddle with the Andy Griffith episode and his assassination in Dealey Plaza. But just look, I mean, this man killed on the 101st day of the year, April 11th. 411 connects to Freemason, assassin. Assassin also 101, dead on the 101st day of the year. What are the odds, you know? The other thing is, he did die in a leap year. So his anniversary of his death, 3 out of 4 years, it's on the 101st day of the year. The year he died in, 2012, was a leap year, which means that April 11th was actually the 102nd day of the year. Remember, the Civil War began on the date April 12th, 1861, which was the 102nd day of the year. So technically he died on the 102nd day of the year. Slavery equals 102. Remember, the Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year and ended on May 9th, 5-9. This man dead at age 59 on the 102nd day of 2012. But what is typically the 101st day of the year, slave 59, slavery 102, the N-word's also 102. Remember how the N-word, when you break it down in Gematria, it has 59 coded into it 2 times. How these numbers come together in this sick way. And I doubt the members of the Boule know that. I think if they did, they probably wouldn't want to be Masons. Also, this coming Friday, 6 days from today, a woman asked me to do her radio show. I'll put out that information where you can listen to that broadcast at. It's going to be Friday in the later part of the day. I'll get the time and all the information for you. But she asked me if I could look into the death of this man, Jerome Carter. And when I first looked into it, it had this bad information up here. It was interesting that this bad information, which I first investigated, had him dying 38 days from his birthday. And I thought, oh, really? This master numerologist died 38 days from his birthday. But we got to throw that out because it's actually not true. It's just interesting that it was misreported that way. But I did go look up his actual death, and he died in a motorcycle accident. Supposedly he just crashed and was without a helmet. Nobody else was involved. Hit the curb and flew from his bike. Smashed his head. But they report that he was 53 years old, and the wreck was at about 5:30. And again, he's a master numerologist, this man. They said it happened on a Monday, so I looked up what Monday was. It was September 14th, 2009. And here's what's so interesting about that. September 14th is the 257th day of the year, which is the 55th prime number. This guy was known for numerology 55. And if you go to his Twitter page, which is still up, he said he broadcast to over 41 million people a month. So he had a massive following. And I wasn't aware of this man until today when I got asked about him, but I don't know what kind of information he was covering. Perhaps he was putting out things that were threatening to the powers that shouldn't be. But anyhow, 257th day of the year, the 55th prime, numerology 55. Remember, Fibonacci is also 55. 55 is the 10th Fibonacci number. 55 is the 10th triangular number as well, meaning if you add 1 through 10 together, it equals 55. And then 55 breaks down to 5 plus 5 is 10. So very special number. The other thing is this date he died, September 14th, it's the day leaving 108 days left in the year. Remember, that's the special number with geometry. Geometry, 108. Alphabetic order and reverse alphabetic order. And the most special shape in sacred geometry is the Vesica Piscis, which equals 53. This man was 53 years old and supposedly died at 5:30 p.m. when he crashed his motorcycle. So, the other thing that's interesting is he died just short of his 54th birthday, right? He died 40 days short if the information I got is correct. From September 14th to his birthday on October 23rd, and notice he was born in the year 55 too. Don't overlook that. He was born in 55, this man. From his date of death to what would have been his 54th birthday was 40 days, our mathematics number. But with regards to 54, that's also the number that symbolizes sun. And what makes 108 special, the geometry number, in light of him dying on the day, leaving 108 days left in the year, is that, again, they say from the earth to the sun, that distance is the diameter of 108 suns, and the diameter of the sun is the diameter of 108 earths across, and from the earth to the moon is the diameter of 108 moons. So, very numerological death for the numerology man. And it just makes you wonder. We know there's an organic side. It seemed that he had I was trying to do research on how long he'd been broadcasting for before this happened. It seemed that he was just getting started around this same time that his death occurred, but he must have been around for some time to have built up an audience of 41 million people, unless he was overstating the facts. So, when I do the radio show this weekend, she's going to have more to ask me about this man, and perhaps we'll learn more. I don't know if she's aware of him, but this will be a new platform for me going on her show, and I'm looking forward to it. So, this wraps up the practice live stream. Hopefully for the next one I can figure out how to get it to show the whole desktop so you guys can see everything. When I went over this first story, I wasn't aware that we weren't coming through properly. Let me go to the chat and see what's going on there. The problem with the chat is I have to make the screen bigger to see it. All right, I'm reading the chat here. Crispy says, great work. Thank you. Tony Camps, 150 sailors to run a submarine, and it's all systems. Okay. 150 is a Illuminati number. Just trying to see what's in the chat, see if there was any questions. A lot of people writing buffering. I don't know what to do about that. My stream health shows that I'm at medium quality. We were at green when I did the practice one. This one's been at yellow the whole time. I don't know what that's about. YouTube is not letting it play for me. I don't get it. I saw the test one. Yeah, they seem to like my test one. Probably that's because I didn't expose anything. Huh. Hey, if you guys are watching this right now, can you just simply write yes or no? Write yes if this is coming through clearly, if you've gotten the majority of this broadcast, and can you write no if it's been a lot of buffering and hardly working. So yeah, I see the same old annoying trolls that hang around my blog and YouTube 24/7. It's like, do these people have a life? What do they do? Just sit on the computer and wait for me to post something? Let's see. Overwhelmingly, people are writing yes, so that's encouraging. I am seeing the people who are writing no. Somebody wrote yes and no, so I'm going to take that as a 50-50. Okay, next question. When I adjusted the screen and I made it so it was focusing on the corner, were you able to see all the content that I was trying to put on the screen? Can you write yes content if you could see everything once I made the adjustment? Somebody asked what show I'm talking about being on. I'm going to do a woman's radio show this coming Friday. And I'll put out that information. I don't have all the information yet. Okay. I see mostly people putting yes. I see Tony Camps putting no, but if you guys aren't aware, Tony Camps is one of the dedicated trolls here. So I'm not really worried about what Tony Camps is writing. Looks like everybody else is writing yes. All right, so here's something I'm going to start doing now that the screen's clear and these live streams are working. On my Patreon, when I do my decodes in the morning, I'm going to start live streaming the decode. So if you're on my Patreon, you'll be able to watch that. For those of you who want to see how I break down the work and go through the news and put together the decode that I usually present in a YouTube video. So that's something I'll start doing daily now that the screen is clear. The reason I wasn't able to do it before is because the screen was never clear. The difference between now and before is because just so many of you have invested in the book, I went out and got a new computer, and so far things have been really nice working on the new computer. It's not taking a million hours to load websites, and I can have more than 4 tabs open at once. So be doing the live streaming with the decodes on the Patreon in the morning. I'll be doing free live streams on YouTube for those of you who are younger, and those of you who don't have money, it's okay. Still got to get out the content for free like I always do, but the Patreon, I'm trying to get people who do have money to invest so we can take this to bigger and better levels. And again, I want enough income to come in so that I can hire people to work for me. I need people with technical skills so we can figure out the things that I'm incapable of figuring out myself, such as figuring out how to center the screen for this live stream. So all right, Truth Seekers, I think I'm going to cut it off here. This has been a mostly successful test room run with some room for improvement. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to re-upload videos of all the things I just covered, too, so there's a little bit better quality and so that it's all on the screen. All right, you guys, have a good night. Appreciate you tuning in and supporting, as always. Till next time, Truth Seeker.